Okay, I think we've started streaming now. Let me just advertise that we're live. Let's see. How many people do we have in chat right now? Only one cooker. Oh, okay. That's 3 people, huh? Nice. Or, yeah, whatever. So anyways, did we start now or do you still want to wait a bit? I guess we should start now because we've already spent...
I mean, we can talk a bit about changes, I guess, if we think that's gonna impact anything.
So,
I haven't seen the deck list, but there hasn't been any new cards added, with the one exception of Mercantile cards. No new sets or anything.
Well, I mean, there's also the pre-GP balance patch that we haven't covered on the channel yet because it happened in between.
Yes, a lot of the... I don't think any of the main balance packs changes are going to change many of the decks besides like Confirm Hypothesis.
Right.
Being affected by shifting around changes. A few decks are just like kind of in need of rework, like redo. But a lot of stuff shouldn't matter too much. But we see at the GP. Consult being banned might affect Prowess. I don't know.
Well, the good news is, I mean, I already seen lists beforehand, but spoiler. Well, actually, no, there is a Prowess deck, huh? But they're not running Consult Ancient Knowledge because, I mean, they could have run
because it's banned.
Well, they wouldn't have run Consult Ancient Knowledge even if it wasn't banned because they couldn't run it. Like it's not in the right colors.
Oh, it's not blue-red? Interesting. Yeah, so, but as far as blue-red Prowess goes, not having access to kind of crossing the fog 5-8 probably hurts the chance of seeing it. Which I guess, if there's a, like, red... white-blue? I don't know what Prowess is. But otherwise, I imagine a lot of the decks are probably kind of similar to stuff in like deck lists or previous GPs.
Well, yeah. Well, anyways, so do you want to start
we
now?
can probably get started.
Yeah. If you're arriving late, you can just go back. I'm not going to forget to record the VOD like the first time I did this.
So we have styles. First up alphabetically using the underline.
Yeah. So, I mean...
So they're on soldiers.
They're on red, white soldiers, which is a bit different from what we're used to, but they have Balance Blade, so that's a 1-mana first striker, double striker.
Yeah, so immediately looking at this, there's kind of 3 cards that stand out to me. I guess 4 maybe. Balance Blade is really crazy with Chevalier's Lance.
Yeah.
Like, Chevalier's Lance is crazy, Balance Blade makes it even crazier. Where Engage is really scary, just in general. Where kind of any creature deck, if they're on the draw, what creature deck can even, like, stop a Balanced Blade with a Chevalier's Lance on it without just killing it straight up?
I mean, they can just chump it, I guess.
If you have to, like, I mean, I guess Abyss starting on turn 2 is maybe a good way to explain it.
Yeah.
And if you don't chump it, then you're taking 4. And if you're not chumping it, you also don't have creatures on the board. So, yeah, very scary card. The other 2 cards that stand out are, I guess, Cyrukin's Messenger. I'll talk about first. So, Cyrukin's Messenger has shown up in some, like, random combo kills, like, in theory at least.
Yeah, in theory.
You give it haste. You equip it with a little Deerin. So it deals 4 times the damage. If you're giving it haste with Cinderblade, give it +2/+2, that's 20 damage exactly.
Yeah.
Also search for equipment, which is nice. And it also has flying, which is kind of cool, because I know one of the complaints the Flying Pinata had with soldiers was that everything just gets chumped. Like
Right.
Chevalier's Lance is chumpable. So flying is kind of nice on this. The last card being Shion Shio, which also gives flying, conveniently. Actually, Shion Shio's flip a soldier.
What's it called again?
No, it's a samurai. Not quite.
Yeah.
Ethiopia.
Yeah. Flips aren't working.
I'm a big fan of Shion Shio. I've played quite a bit of it.
Yeah, but you literally
Alittleblank is also.
You literally can't equip this thing. You're just trying to get off Sarukin's messenger.
They have a Sedate Tundra.
Oh, okay. I guess that works.
Plus some fetches.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting because there's only 3 cards it's splashing for, right? Everything else is mono white.
Are they splashing for another card? Alright, splashing, you mean both red and blue? Yeah.
Yeah, but they're just splashing for those 9 cards. Like, Shion Shio is the only only blue card they're playing. Which is kind of interesting. Other than that, they just have the standard soldiers stuff. Splitting Underpass Sentinel to board and main is kind of interesting. Don't know how I feel about that. But
Yeah.
Core Light Champion and Lily Trident, Dawnhill Forge Master, Bounding Hero, Margid Celebrant, or Seto-san, all cards are kind of standard.
I mean, there's Illiterate, the Apex Blade, which is also the other non-standard card in this deck. I mean, I'm pretty sure this thing's purely for Sarukin's messenger, because you can't fetch it off Celson either.
Yeah. Equipping for 4 is also really expensive in this deck. Just in general, but also, they're only 19 lands. Like, what the... I don't know how they're casting Sarukin's messenger in 19 lands.
Maybe you just get there, like...
Maybe. I would like to see, like, 21 or 22 even. Especially with, like, Shion Shio being pretty expensive, too.
Yeah.
Even if the rest of the deck is pretty cheap.
Also, since you're splashing, you can't actually run Mercanta Accords.
The only thing that doesn't cast is single mountain, so...
Yeah, so maybe
they could if they wanted to.
Yeah, I guess.
It'd be a bit, like, pricey on the life totals, maybe, but quite doable.
Yeah. So...
But otherwise, it's just kind of basic soldiers. I still don't know how Asmon plays on the sideboard, but I imagine it's probably fine.
They don't do anything?
I don't know. I guess it's replacing Zalclaw.
Yeah.
Where the Ward 1 is kind of annoying for, like, burn and whatnot.
Yeah,
and, like, if you hit versus combo, it kind of locks some stuff out.
Yeah, if you hit versus combo, as opposed to just...
I mean, they need to chomp it, which combo is generally not that great at doing.
But no, you just kill them. You just combo off before Azamon hits you.
Well, is there any, like, turn 3 combo in the format anymore? Or, like, even turn 4 combat?
Yeah, who knows?
Because, like, a lot of decks, and, like, there were very few decks that the combo turn 3 even before the ritual changes.
Right.
So Azamon feels like it should be good enough. Though, only letting you name one card is a bit annoying, and again, it is trumpable.
Yeah.
So, I think I'll give it a 7. I'm really concerned about these 19 lands.
Yeah.
With a bunch of the expensive cards.
I'll give it 3 chili peppers because it has Balance Blade in it, and I want to see that thing in action.
Actually, honestly, Balance Blade is probably just the nuts.
Okay. I mean, if you can get it.
I mean, you have 4 copies, it's good.
Yeah.
You have so many copies of Chevalier's Lance.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Anyways, so next up, Alittleblank's normal deck. And you may take a look at this deck because I have no idea what it's supposed to be trying to, or what it's trying to do.
What's this? So Xira.
Yes.
Okay. Profit of. Okay.
Yes.
Leyline Invoke is a really good card.
Oh, yeah, but yes.
Dovin's Masterwork is less of a good card.
Yes.
Wait, why is it? Okay, Egg of Avarice, Temporal Resuscitation,
Yes.
Janitor, Undead Banneret. Wait, why is... My first question is, why is this Dovin's Masterpiece in the deck? Over, like, Sanctuary?
I mean, maybe you get the real appropriate green and get it for free or something.
Wait, but they don't have, like, they have, like, 4 fetch lands too, huh?
Actually, good point.
Mill, but how are you killing these fallow cultivators and Prophet of Acclamations?
Egg of Avarice.
Oh, I guess that's fair. It still needs 4 sack outlets, but I guess that's fine. You just chump.
Yeah.
So I guess they're better than Pestilent Scavenger, which is on the board. Or Rot.
Yeah.
Rot. This is like... So why is Xira in the deck, is I guess my first question.
Well, I mean, what triggers Xira again? I guess Undead Banner and Horrific Progenitor.
Is that actually it?
Wait.
I guess that's actually it.
Oh, well, I mean... that... Okay, I have no idea what this deck does.
Okay, apparently from chat, Starlight Beacon is the key. Oh, that's the kill with Xira.
Oh. I
so you
see.
have Starlight Beacon plus something that activates Xira, and you...
And Undead Banneret.
Yeah. So you need specifically Undead Banneret.
I mean, that's not...
That's a pretty...
Yeah, that's not too bad.
That's a pretty compact kill. So you have to play Undead Banneret with many legends. Egg of Avarice fetching Xira is kind of neat.
Yeah.
So, like, turn 4, if you have some random creature in play, you sack it, grab Xira, play Undead Banneret, and win.
Yeah, actually, that doesn't sound too bad.
Well, you do need to find... I guess that's fine. It's still a 4-card, I guess 3-card combo.
Yeah.
Profit fetches... It kind of helps you search for Starlight Beacon, but nothing else does.
Profit, Doval's Masterwork.
Yeah, I guess. Like wait, why is this playing Whispereds instead of the the sorcery version?
What sorcery version again?
There's a black-green like mill 5, but it only hits permanents, I think.
What's it called?
Give me a second. Wealth of the Underbrush. So you mills 5 and then returns a permanent from your graveyard to your hand.
Oh.
Doesn't need... Which seems better here. I guess it doesn't hit Temporal Resuscitation.
Yeah, I guess. Huh.
Oh, no, there's... Like... There's clearly something going on here, but there's also, like... A lot of these choices don't quite seem to work together.
Yeah, but maybe it just gets there.
Yeah, so the 2 ways you can kill is the 3-card combo with Xira, Beacon, and Banneret, or you just hope that Horrific Progenitor is good enough.
Yeah.
Those are the only ways you can win.
Yeah.
I guess Leyline Invoker fetching Progenitor at instant speed is neat.
Right.
Well, not fetching it, but reanimating it instant speed. But at the same time, that does open you up to just generic creature removal, like burn and stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
Then Pestilent Scavenger. What is Pestilent Scavenger doing in this board? It's just if you want to one on Death Touch.
Yeah.
Rot, I guess, wins some matchups.
Yeah.
But it also hits your Egg of Avarice.
Oh. I mean, maybe you're okay with that if it wins you some matchups.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. This feels really intractable and not all that fast. 3-card combo that kills on turn 4 and dies to any creature removal is kind of suspect.
Yeah. What do you even call this deck? Black, green. I'll just put question marks. Anyways,
reanimator or something. I don't know.
Anyways, I'm gonna give this thing 5 chili peppers because I really want to see what this deck can do. Yeah, sure. It's black green Xira combo. So, anyways, we should probably hurry up because there's a lot of decks to go through.
But apparently there's 12 copies, right?
Yeah. So Ambrose is running EurekaTell. Not that different from the previous versions. Precocious Sanctum has been nerfed, so slightly worse, but you're still running it because it lets you free cast something for 4 mana.
Yeah, I'm not. So I'm kind of a fan of EurekaTell. I've actually been playing some EurekaTell / Reanimator stuff in League. I've been kind of liking it. I'm not sure if I'm sold on the ramp options, because actually there's been some recent really good ramp options with the guy that adjudicates the land.
Oh right, Pronouncer Preserves.
Yeah, Pronouncer Preserves, which gives you 2 blockers as well as ramping you to 4, as well as a Weeping Lotus, which makes your big stuff really castable. Time is also a really good card.
Yeah, I mean, elmikkino was running all those cards in their version of EurekaTell.
Yeah, I don't think they're on Weeping Lotus. Though that did show up in Big Red.
Yeah.
But I think Weeping Lotus is an incredible card. Where it's kind of Collation Relic, except cost 2 mana. Might be the best way to explain it. And anyone who was playing Q 5 or 6 years ago knows that Collation Relic used to be the nuts.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think this deck's good. Didn't get updates, got a different enough Curse of Sanctum.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of ways to prepare for this deck, even if you know that's coming.
Tenuous Existence. Yeah, Tenuous Existence didn't actually stop it because it's playing Planeswalker instead of creatures. Yeah,
though Tenuous Existence does kill 2 of the 8/8s from Valio or Terry.
Yeah.
And you can even stop Terry's stag trigger.
Right.
But no one Tenuous Existence is not a very proper card.
Hey, I mean, I made Tenuous Existence mostly to dunk on this deck, but apparently that actually doesn't do that.
Yeah, I think this deck's just solid. I think you sometimes just need for it to lose to itself.
Yeah.
But it is a very fair thing, and it does lose to itself. Also, if you're playing counter spells, this deck really does not like to see that, because it slows them down quite a bit. Precursor Sanctum nerf seems pretty bad, but it's still slow enough.
Yeah. I'll give it, I guess, 2 chili peppers because we haven't seen it in a while. So next up, Astimageons.
Astimageon?
Well, whatever they're called. Blue Fliers, or I guess blue-red Fliers. Running way too many creatures, and not enough spells. And notably, they're not running Fairy Infiltration, which is probably just a straight up upgrade.
Yeah, an upgrade to Owl of the 7 stars.
Yeah.
Is there any downside to playing Fairy Infiltration over Owl here?
Maybe your thing gets bounced or something?
Maybe. So I think this is just an upgrade of what they were on last GP.
Well, is it even an upgrade if they removed some of the cards that made...
Notably, they've removed the splashing for the double white card and the Byron's Gambit in the sideboard.
They also removed Crossing the Fog from the main deck.
They did?
Yeah, they have Crossing the Fog in the main deck, right?
I don't even remember if they... Did they have Crossing the Fog in the main deck last time?
No idea, actually, now I think about it, but I feel like they should have Crossing the Fog in the main deck.
Yeah, so Crossing the Fog is really nuts. Definitely after seeing blue flyers, like Canahawk, as Espithel calls it.
Yeah.
A lot more. Crossing the Fog seems to be a really common way for that deck to win, especially on the play. Going like turn 1 flyer, turn 2 Crossing the Fog, hold up a counterspell or whatever, hold up some interaction, play another bird.
Now to think about it, this deck's not playing any main deck interaction either.
Yeah. But Crossing the Fog is also a really easy way to outvalue your opponents. But just like, it is just Ancestral Recall sometimes in this deck.
Yeah.
But not in the main deck here. Otherwise, it seems fine. I mean, it seems like an upgrade of what they were on last GP, better mana.
Are they not running Tidal Spite in the sideboard?
I mean, Tidal Spite as a sorcery now. How many things do they even have to trigger it?
I think it's still fine. Like they still have all the stuff from the old Blue Flyers deck that triggers it, and sometimes you're just fine with the sorceries be Tidal Spite because that wipes the board.
Also, I'm checking their last list, and they didn't have Crossing the Fog anywhere in the 75.
Oh. Well, at least... I mean, that's... I guess 2 copies of Crossing the Fog in the sideboard is an improvement from that, but not big enough of an improvement, I feel like.
So, I think this deck's overall fine. Definitely, the mana base was my biggest problem with it. Like, Rapid 3-0 plus Flyers is just kind of a strong combination.
Yeah.
Crossing the Fog, I feel like you definitely want 4 at least in the sideboard. Cosmic Sinkhole, I think you should probably be in more of in general.
Yeah.
Both those cards are very insane. Otherwise, it's just kind of you get what you see most. Phantasmal Owls, of course, good.
I'll give it 3 Chili Peppers because I haven't actually seen that deck in action yet. Despite, I missed all of Astimageon's games last GP. Anyways, next up, Augur's on Red-White Prowess. Or no, it's Mardu Prowess. I guess after Consult Ancient Knowledge got banned and stuff, Augur decided to switch colors.
Okay, so you have some Prow stuff. Naturally counters Pupil Lightning, Flame Waker. You also have Scented Acolyte and Master 3-pass.
I mean, Master is decent. It gets counters, I guess.
Yeah. You can choose the same ability in Master over the multiple turns, right?
Yeah.
It's not choosing before.
Yeah, so you can just keep putting counters on this guy.
And then to trigger that, you have... And Scented Acolyte is kind of similar. So then to trigger that, you have your burn spells through the Ashen Gate as a pretty degenerate card. Trinket and Charms. Interesting.
I mean, isn't that basically sort of like Find Greater Purpose, except it's instant speed?
Isn't Find Greater Purpose? Is Find Greater Purpose until end of turn or your next turn?
Oh, it's until next turn, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whereas Trinket and Charms is till end of turn.
Ah.
Wait, why is this card? I don't know why this card's an instant, to be honest. I mean, it works out here because you want to play in combat step, but it seems like you basically only want to play in your turn.
Yeah. And then they also have Forbidden Brew and Storm Surge, which you can orchestrate / inscribe onto your guys that you can trigger them during combat.
Forbidden Brew seems like it might be going a bit too far here.
Yeah.
I'm crazy in saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I mean, White Light's actually pretty fun because you can give something lifelink, so that way you can race against other decks. Because you are taking a bunch of damage from your lands, right?
Seems pretty normal as far as mana bases go.
And I guess through an Ashen Gate also hits you, but
yeah, Wayfarer Shrine. Interesting.
White Light lets you win the race out of nowhere, and also cantrips, so it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I think it also gives. I think the important part is it gives functional trample too.
Right.
With the winnow, and none of these threats have trample.
Oh yeah, this deck doesn't play Strong Arm anymore. It's playing White Light for their trample giving.
Yeah, White Light's an interesting card. I remember trying to mess around with Molten Incubation plus it. That didn't end up working out too well, but I mean, it's a cool combo.
Yeah.
I mean, but how good is this deck? What do you think about this deck? Just in general.
I think it's probably worse than Blue-Red Prowess from the last GP before nerfs. But after nerfs and bans, well, I still think Blue-Red Prowess is probably better, but I think this deck probably holds its own.
Yeah, not having access to Crossing the Fog and Consult Ancient Knowledge. Not that Blue-Red Prowess has Consult Ancient Knowledge anymore. Seems like a pretty major downside.
And Strong Arm.
Well, they have access to Strong Arm, but they're not playing Strong Arm.
That's my point. But I guess they get through the Ashen Gate instead, which that's what they're using for their degeneracy.
What? God. Wait, there's no way Forbidden Brew is actually better than Strong Arm, right?
Hey, if you want to trigger Prowess multiple turns in a row, right? I mean,
I guess. Yeah, this feels like it's trying to be really too cute. Where like Strong Arm feels like it should be in here. There's not much draw in general.
I mean, Strong Arm even mana fixes, so yeah.
So like Trinket and Charms works, but discarding a land is actually harder than it looks a lot of the time. The 22 is kind of overkill here, so
yeah,
we have some stuff to do. The Trinket and Charms is just not that great of a card in general. White Light is the only, I guess, through the Ashen Gate. The investigating is really expensive here.
I mean, you're mostly just playing it as a way to trigger Prowess for free.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at like how do you keep up your aggression? Because I mean, I guess Forbidden Brew gives you spellcasts throughout the turns, but even in Blue-Red Prowess, it seems like they ran out of spells relatively quickly. Huh.
Well, anyways, I'm gonna give this thing, I guess 3, fortunately peppers for spiciness because they're running some really interesting cards. So moving on, Bergland's Black-Red discard is designed by Scribble, so it's black-red Attrition, as we like to call it here. And I think it's basically the same deck as the one Scribble ran some GPs ago. I'm actually not sure if Scribble ran it before or after the Valdez nerf.
I don't think they did. Because I think they... Yeah, I'm pretty sure Valdez nerf came right after the second time they played it. I think they only played it twice.
Okay, so yeah. So the deck is slightly worse, but I think it's still good, right?
Yeah, so Valdez, like... I think this deck definitely could leverage the Valdez haste a bunch. Where Valdez gave it a much quicker clock.
Yeah.
As well as having just all this discard in general. I'm not sure how good I feel about this deck just in general. Because it's weird, because like all of the power in this deck is concentrated on Ambitious Necromancer and Saruti Flamebinder.
Right.
Where like you're playing Madden, Inferno, and Raga, and like Fire Temper. Whereas if you want to play Profane MSA deck, you could also be playing like Inishtu and like Toddy and Lucian and Dawson and all these other cards.
Yeah.
Which are much more innately powerful. Hell, even going to like Rattler as well.
Yeah.
You're really relying on these 2 1-drops to do everything for you. But these 2 1-drops are really nuts. So
I guess you have a much more explosive draw potential.
Yeah, I think card quality is... I think you're kind of hitting your card quality to make these 2 1-drops good. Though the deck clearly does work. And like, just having a very solid low to the ground Profane MC deck is going to win you a lot of games.
Yeah.
Also having access to quite a bit of removal with Fire Temper and Parasitic Rebirth. Even if neither of the cards are super phenomenal, and just kind of okay, is going to win you a lot of games. Just a very solid deck overall.
Yeah. I'm going to give it once Chili Pepper because we already seen this deck many times. A black-red Attrition, as they call it. So anyways, Cajuns, I still Ricky's green-white creature vomit.
Boy. Wait, so how many people are on creature vomit?
Do you want me to tell you right now, or do you want to find out?
Sure.
To what?
You can tell me right now.
4 people.
Okay. I guess we can spend a fair amount of time talking about this deck then. So you can skip over it later.
Hey, we can just split our talk among the 4 decks, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I did with Fliers last time. So this deck is really scary. I'm just gonna give an 8 right now because it's
okay. Wonderful.
Last time. But key interactions in this deck is that you spam a whole bunch of random cheap creatures. So Lore Spread, Overgrowth Guardian, Silent Wanderer, Daisy, Travel Reinforcement, Seek the Lost Child. And then you, if possible, use Critter's Companion to accelerate yourself. And then you find a way to win the game with Mozaketh being the most common way, but also Gaolo being really easy to trigger here. Crawlite Champion, of course, very common white aggro card. Perish Pegon gets really big, really fast. And then Raise Reinforcements kind of pushes it all over the edge, where it makes it really trivial to activate Mozaketh. It's just a free spell in general. Gives you untaps your creatures for blocking if that's relevant. Daisy can also function as an anthem, protects the creatures. And then you have EHS, which isn't typically the last card I mentioned in the deck, but
yeah,
also exists.
And I think something that I've realized when playing with this deck is just how much card advantage you get from playing the cards, despite bombing everything out on board. Like a Lore Spout draws you a card, Guild draws you a card, EHS puts you up a card. Yeah, everything, but half the cards in your deck just put you up a card and still get stuff onto the board. So you can actually just recover really easily from board wipes. Although Daisy also helps you with board wipes, and Perish Paragon for damage-based board wipes. So you have a lot of resiliency despite being such all-in deck.
Yeah, so this was one of my creations, and the main reason it's showing up now, despite a lot of these cards being kind of older, is Critter's Companion, really making the deck way more explosive.
Yeah, because you can do turn 1 Critter's Companion, and then if they don't kill it, turn 2 you play a creature or play a card that makes 2 token or 2 bodies, so like Overgrowth Guardian, Seek Lost Child to fetch land, Trial Recruitment, or just Silent Wanderer plus another 1-drop, and suddenly you get to play EHS on turn 2, and you've already played your 1-drop, so that's 4 mana on turn 2.
Yeah, or even just playing Core Light Champion is going to get you quite a bit of the way to killing your opponent.
Yeah.
Also, like, awkward Gillows in your hand or Perish Paragons come out way easier. Also, in addition to letting you play EHS on turn 2, as well as play out your bodies, if you hit it off EHS, you do get to cast Adventure in a rules book.
So then you get even more card advantage from your EHS in your all-in deck that probably shouldn't be having this much card advantage built in.
Yeah, so the deck generally is trying to deal like 50 damage on turn 4 or whatever.
It's not 50, it's more like 40.
More like 100.
Yeah.
Some arbitrarily large amount of damage. And there's not really that many good ways to answer a lot of the stuff this deck's doing. Mozaka, of course, being a land, and also fetchable, is kind of hard to deal with. Of course, Mirrorgate exists, but not a ton of decks can afford to play a bunch of Mirrorgates.
But if you are running Mirrorgate, then good for you, because I no longer run Efflorescence in the sideboard, because that card just bricks Kilo.
But even then, you do have quite a few ways to get through that with Gillo and Core Light Champion and Daisy. And then, like, Sweepers are kind of good against, obviously good against Creature Vomit. That sounds like a good combination. But you do have Daisy to kind of buff up your creatures, Perish Paragon as well. You get the 4th Daisy in the sideboard, as well as Denoy Charm for -X Sweepers.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think -X Sweepers are the deck's worst nightmare, especially Vine Collapse, because now you're forced to use Denoy Charm to protect your board instead of a way better Daisy or Perish Paragon, because you need to hold up Denoy Charm, and this deck really doesn't want to be holding up Denoy Charms. They rather just play on Daisy and then worry about the board wipe later.
Yeah, notably, Fast will always wipe the board against this deck. There's no X4s whatsoever.
Yeah.
The buffs of like Core Light Champion and Perish Paragon obviously don't work against Violent Collapse. But yeah, this deck's just really scary in general.
Yeah. And also it's completely unaffected by the nerfs, because, I mean, I was running Bessie's Brood last GP, but I was going to switch out Bessie's Brood anyways, even before it got nerfed, because Confining Priest can actually be fetched off EHS and Seek the Lost Child, as opposed to Bessie's Brood clogging up those searchers, and also it's way easier to cast, because this deck wants double white way more than double green.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards here that, like, if there was like a real main madness patch, so to speak, I think probably would kind of get the side eye. Like, Gillo creates a lot of crazy board states in whatever deck they're in. Core Light Champion shows up in every white aggro deck, I think, without exceptions.
Yeah.
Trial Recruitment, mainly it's being changed due to unrelated reasons.
Yeah.
Raised Reinforcements. Free cast for 1/1s is crazy. Seek the Lost Child is just a crazy card in general. 1 mana for two 1/1s, poor life, and a creature off the top of your library, geez, then I don't need to talk much about EHS. But
I mean, and multicap too, because +3/+3 on land is really insane.
A lot of these fetchable legendary lands, Mozgap being the best, Cradle Corruption being good, Eldraine being potentially useful somewhere. The red one is bad and the blue one is mediocre, but
yeah, green white
all really crazy, but because they're fetchable.
So I don't actually know what to give for spiciness because, I mean, I want to get this deck on camera because I'm also playing it, but I'll give it 2 chili peppers, I guess. So Chumbeque, yeah.
Hold on, we have another CandleOx deck. Hold on, I thought it was being unique.
Well, this one's way more all in on the enchantment part, I guess, because it's running all that glitters and ethereal armor.
Yeah, so this is, I think, first and foremost, a Featherfall aesthetic deck.
Yeah.
That's my first impression of it. Where Featherfall aesthetic is a really crazy card. I think I played against a previous version in a GP a while ago. I think it was like Blues Eclipse that was running it.
Probably.
I think they're running some more Dwarks and whatnot instead of these white Ego cards. But Featherfall aesthetic, make a bird, you put it like ethereal armor on it, and then you get another ethereal armor, and it's a bunch of damage. But in addition to that, you have Candlegift plus Workgate. Well, Workgate was a card the deck was probably going to play anyways. And Candlegift, on top of being Aura for Featherfall aesthetic, also works incredibly well with Starfield Workgate. Where if you go like turn 1 Workgate, turn 2 play a creature, Candlegift the Workgate, then the Workgate makes an Ox. And then you attack with the Candlegift Ox. You hit them, you make another Candlegift onto the Ox you made, which makes another Ox. And then that's just turn 2. Next turn, you're making 4 creatures.
I guess.
Yeah, whatever Oxen say. Which is just kind of a combo that can get really out of hand. And Ward 1 is also really nice there. So if you're on the play, it becomes pretty degenerate pretty fast.
Yeah.
I imagine Featherfall, or not Featherfall, Candlegift here, outside of that interaction, is probably just for the sack ability. Because it doesn't really work that well with Featherfall aesthetic, because it puts a Candlegift on everything you have anyways.
I mean, I guess that, but then that gives you a lot of things to sack, I guess.
Yeah. So you can make a 5/5 Angel pretty easily. This is probably just fine for the Ward 1 even, on your Dreamsteel Paladin or whatnot.
Yeah.
There's some... And also just... I don't know if there's another Aura you can play that costs 1 that's any good.
Oh, you're already playing 4 Ethereal Armors. Actually, you are playing 4 Heraldries too.
Yeah, I imagine Heraldry is just more so for kind of outside the combo and just kind of as a good card.
Yeah.
And then you also get access to Serene Chapel, which is the new Manland, as well as all the good sideboard cards in white. Mercantile Accords being a new one.
Yeah. So, CandleOx. Actually, it's Featherfall CandleOx. And I'll give it, I guess, I'll give it 4 chili peppers because the deck's really interesting, but I'm actually not that interested in getting it on camera.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this deck. Because Featherfall aesthetic is kind of answerable. It's all though.
Well, anyways, we should probably start speeding up. But next up we have Plush Castles, Trainless Train.
Oh, Trainless Train.
Yeah, because we had Rejuvenationless Rejuvenation, and we had Infuseless Infuse, and now we have Trainless Train. All combo decks have versions of themselves that don't have the key card.
This is actually just Trainless Train, right? There's nothing weird happening.
It is just Trainless Train. They're running 8 card.
Cool.
They're running 8 Gutter Snipe. Yeah. I mean, you have to appreciate the effort that they're going into to try to make this thing work. They're running Ethereum Sculptor
Are they really putting in effort? I mean, this is just actual Train, except they replace Train.
With his Ethereum Sculptor? Wait, no, Forsaken Gunfighter. I feel like that's a new one.
Yeah, well, that's, I think, what they replaced Train with.
No, they replaced with Ethereum Sculptor, I think.
Oh, well, I guess they had it Unleash last time too, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know how this deck wins beyond, drawing 2 Sage's Ashes.
With their Gutter Snipes.
With no cantrips besides Water Tome?
Wait, is there actually no...
And the Gutter Snipe.
Wait a minute,
they
don't have any cantrips? Why are they not running cantrips?
I mean, I guess Mysterious Coffin maybe gets there, but...
Okay. Yeah, I feel like a lot of games are just going to get stuck with a handful of cost reduces and no ways to draw. Train. And as much as I appreciate the creativity and effort, I'm going to have to give you a 2. Really purpose, because I really don't want to see this deck on camera. I'd rather not see someone not do anything for half their games. Anyways, moving on. CyberChronometer's 5-color Thunder Roads. Except this is an outdated list, and they're running cards that have already been nerfed.
So, I think... So this is for the Donna's Confluence deck that Donna's Confluence probably wants to be Mana Confluence.
Yeah.
So it plays Goth. I feel like I'm pretty sure I played against this deck a long time ago.
Before the nerf?
Yeah, I think this was the that made me really pissed off at One with the World, the old version.
Yeah.
Because they went turn 1 for the world, turn 2 Offie. I think I won that game, but still pissed me off.
Yeah.
So One with the World is not that good of a card now. I mean, I guess it's fine.
It's even worse in this deck because it only runs 5 basics.
Yeah, I mean, it fixes your mana, which is nice. I mean, it makes up for running not Mana Confluence at the very least. Plays Rot, plays a whole bunch of random control stuff.
Yeah.
Bank Commander is cool. And it's just kind of standard control stuff, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Excessively fair control stuff.
Yeah. I mean, 5
Well,
control.
I think the main annoyance I have with this deck is that you really can't win in any reasonable speed without double Thunder Roads in face.
I mean, you can use your Revelations and beat them down with it.
Yeah, but I'm not super happy about having to play 8 or 7 mana cards to have a chance at hitting my opponent. But I think there's just... You give your opponent so much time to do anything.
Yeah.
And you're also being time to, just kind of flood out if your opponent can, deal with the Revelations.
Yeah.
It's fine, but it's just excessively fair.
1 Chili Pepper because this deck doesn't even work as intended. Anyways, move on. DrChillbrain's Dreamsight. I mean, it's a Dreamsight list with some new cards.
I mean, I like a lot of the new mid-range Jundy stuff.
Yeah.
Azalea's cool, Sophia's cool. Funnily enough, you get to play 4 of both those because you're on Dreamsight.
Yeah.
Which is neat. Because there's no chance that you draw 2.
Yeah. But actually, something I did notice is that they're not running any utility lands in their mana base, even though they have more than enough slots.
Wait, and they're running polyp pools. Man, running polyp pools, but I guess polyp pools has less of a cost, but it's kind of funny that polyp pools only works for Protean MSA in your 140 card deck.
Yeah. But like, what I was saying is, I feel like DrChillbrain should be running at least some mana lands in this mana base, because that gives them something to do once they, yeah.
Wait, how are they fetching Dreamsight? Tally's Council.
I mean, that's it. Tally's Council is good enough. And if you don't get Dreamsight, just play the mid-range plan. You just churn them out.
Yeah, but it's like, it's not a good mid-range plan.
What?
It's fine, but wait, there's not even Infectious Ego in this deck.
Actually, yeah, good point. Huh.
Like, it's a very mediocre mid-range plan. Like, Posey's fine, but not really at her best here. Lucian is fine, but also really not going to win you the game. Xanagan's good, but...
Wait, they have Thunderbolt in the sideboard for some reason. I feel like that's the kind of card that you don't want in the sideboard. You want to fetch your sideboard's options.
This feels like just a bad Jund deck that wants to for you all Dreamsight well. Like, this is your, whoops, I'm building my Jund deck and I have 120 cards, might as well go all the way to 140.
Yeah. But, I mean, do you think there is a build of Dreamsight that's good?
I don't know how many tutors there are for Dreamsight well.
No, I mean, like, not even...
Council and Thunderveil, but...
Yeah, but, like, not even just tutors. You just as a decent mid-range deck that happened to have a 2-mana draw 5.
Well, the thing is that as little as thinning and jelly matters, like 140 cards makes your thing really bad, and it makes you wrong half a lot more.
Right.
And you're also drawing the wrong answers a lot. So like, going from Pithwilt to like what? Void Flare? I don't know, like, actually there's only Pithwilt.
Yeah.
So like not maximizing your chances to draw like Pithwilt and Hellion Devastator seems like not a great thing to do. Because those cards are literally just your answers to permanents. I guess Posey helps and Lucian help a little bit. You also don't sideboard well at all.
Right.
So you basically lose, like, you have to play 4s in your sideboard to draw them. Right.
Right.
If you're playing tutors, that's also an issue. But without tutors, your sideboard looks a lot worse.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can play a lot of good cards, but like, they don't really have any interaction. You're just playing kind of good cards.
So you mean
the like really pivotal pieces you're not drawing as often.
So
look, if Infectious Eagle was in the stack, you wouldn't draw it very often. Fan say also,
right?
You're not going to draw it very often.
So what you're saying is that this deck is a 5.
I mean, there is still Dreamsight well in the deck, and obviously playing Dreamsight well is good. But yeah, I think this is kind of I'll give it a 6, but it's like...
it's a collection of good cards with low synergy and moderate power level.
I mean, Jund is a very high power level deck.
Right.
The thing is that you have to dilute it with lower, moderate power level stuff.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's the distinction I make. So, Dreamsight well is incredible here. You're not as happy drawing your random Void Flares or Earthshaker Behemoths.
Right. Well, I'm going to give it 1 Chili Pepper because it's... Actually, no, I'll give it 1 Chili Pepper. It's a Dreamsight deck. You've seen those before. Anyways, next up, elmikkino's running Thin combo, or I guess Reflected Veil, as they call it. No, it's that.
This deck.
It's that deck that they did write about. So you can read all about the deck if you want to.
I like vaguely skimmed that write up a while back. The one thing I did note was Herald of Wisdom seemed like a massive improvement to the deck, since you basically just got a free 5/5 when you first go for Within the Veil.
I guess.
Reflective Moment.
Yeah.
So even if you can't like win with Battles 10 immediately, that's probably still gonna put you quite a bit ahead.
Well, also, I mean, spoiler, but I'm on green-white creature bombing, and this is one of the decks I'm really afraid to face because they have main deck Violent Collapse and an easy way to fetch it. So, yeah.
Yeah, but they do only have one copy.
Yeah, it's in the Veil.
Yeah, it's in the Veil, but that's on turn 4.
Yeah.
And also that means that they're not in the Veiling for Reflective Moment.
I guess.
So this just has no 1 or 2 mana interaction, right?
I mean, there is in the sideboard, but yeah.
But Wave Decay,
Neutralize.
Pop Blossom is fine. They don't actually have any creature removal on turn 1 or 2.
Yeah,
which
but
seems really bad.
I mean, they have Violent Collapse. Like, they can use it to catch up.
Yeah, but they don't have any Violent Collapses on the sideboard, right?
No.
And yeah, I feel like this is actually really easily punished by aggro. I guess it has 4 Profane Emissaries. And I guess, wait, maybe this was something mentioned in the write-up there. How often can this deck turn forth in the Veil for a Reflective Moment?
No idea, but in the games that I've witnessed, honestly, not that bad.
Pretty often?
I mean, I'm not sure, honestly.
Paleontologist grabs Polyp Pools for 2 types. But they don't have the enchantment artifact, so Paleontologist grabs 3 types in total.
Yeah.
But then you need to find 3 other types. And you can't put a Planeswalker in your yard.
You have Karaja
random mill. Yeah, but you're playing Paleontologist on turn 3, right?
Right.
So it doesn't seem that likely that you'll be able to turn 3 or turn 4 in the Veil. I guess it's possible.
Like,
Nice Villainy from the sideboard helps you against aggro.
Right, that's probably what it's for.
This feels just kind of clunky to me. Yeah. Without any early interaction.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so, yeah, blue, black, reflected, veil. I'm gonna give it 4 Chili Peppers because it's a really cool deck. So, moving on, we have Epid, who's running Casino Scam, but without any ways to ramp. Well, no, wait, they have Weeping Lotus as their turn 2 ramp. That's actually pretty clever, now I think about it.
Yeah, so they asked me what to replace Confirm with, and I realized that I was playing Weeping Lotus recently, as mentioned, and Weeping Lotus seemed good here, so yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is probably worse than it was with Confirm.
I mean, of course it's worse. Confirm is insane.
But Weeping Lotus does let you hard cast the Revelations from the graveyard a bit easier, which is nice, since you can use multiple tones of Lotus Petals.
I guess.
I mean, it's a very relevant thing in like slower matchups.
Right.
Weeping Lotus might also let you combo earlier, since you do get multiple triggers off like buy time.
Oh yeah,
Since
that's
every turn you get it, so you can kind of save it up.
yeah, that's actually pretty
I'm not
interesting.
I'm not 100% confident that how much that changes, but I think it's probably similar enough to confirm that I'm going to give this one rating.
Yeah, so let's see. Blue Black Casino Skill.
I guess we should actually mention what the combos are in these two decks.
Okay, so yeah, Reflect Veil.
Yeah, so you get 6 types in Yard for Reflect the Veil,
Oh,
which
Defend the
grabs Reflected
Veil.
Moment. Oh yeah, Defend the Veil. And then you fetch Reflected Moment, which gets cast from Exile, which triggers a condition, so you get 2 extra turns. And then if you have Bowel's Descent in play and you can flip it, then that lets you cast Reflected Moment from your set from Exile. Bowel's
let me get Bell. It's from your graveyard.
Sorry, you cast Thin the Veil from your graveyard to grab Reflected Moment, which got shuffled into your library. So you can take a whole bunch of extra turns and win somehow, doesn't matter how.
Yeah.
You have a flip Gal in play, so that's probably good enough. And then Epid's deck, you have play buy time, so you can't lose. And then you play Black Hole Musing to get you to negative whatever life finds you 2 pieces from your deck. You cast Wish to See on Black Hole Musings to make some 40 power creature, whatever. And then you attack, making it unblockable with Darklands Charm, giving haste with Blood River if you need to.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Going
also
back,
playing some poison cards if you want.
Yeah.
So I will mention that Weeping Lotus has really good interaction with Cosmic Sinkhole.
Oh yeah, good point, huh? But anyways, I'm gonna give Epid 2 Chili Peppers because Weeping Lotus is something new and interesting.
So Espithel is on Counter Hawk.
Yeah.
And just when we named the chat with Title Spite, Espithel, I think this is Espithel, is mentioning that it just wasn't good enough.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
At Sorcery Speed.
I'm surprised that Sorcery Speed made such a big difference.
I guess in their deck, they are relying a lot more on instant speed.
Yeah.
So, major difference between this deck and the last deck they were playing is that they're added white. For as Mirei as well as Cosmic Sinkhole. They're playing Harm's Way main deck, which is interesting.
I mean, that's one thing you can be doing.
So they got some sideboard cards in Justicia, Overseer, Imperial Claim, and Admonish.
Yeah, and Power Jam, which is I don't think that card's good.
Yeah, typically silence effects have not been good in anything outside of really hard combo decks. Particularly because if you fall behind, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
So they don't really work like on the draw, for example. If you're playing as aggro and you're on the draw, it just doesn't work. Because you're probably behind on board. On the play, I assume it's probably fine. Like, you'll basically always be able to attack, right? Since you're on Fliers. I imagine with Hon, I don't think there's maybe Power Jam hits some random combo decks. I mean, it hits the last 2 decks actually, since Wish to See casts the card,
right?
And cast in response to Wish to See. Same with Thin the Veil. So it counts those 2 cards, which is pretty solid. So again, at that point, when you're playing Spell Pierce, I guess is a question.
Right. And also, Espithel's only running 4 cards Griffin Country, so they don't have a second Lord effect Although maybe it's not necessary because Esmeri is sort of doing that job.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to see a third Esmeri, but 2 is probably fine.
Yeah.
I think this deck is relying a lot on Crossing Fog to make everything work.
Yeah.
Where like Harm's Way, for example, looks way better with Crossing Fog in your hand because you can make up for that card disadvantage, or like that kind of less impactful card. Same with a lot of these kind of low impact random flyers. You can get away with a lot when you're playing Crossing Fog. I do like that they went up 17 lands.
Yeah.
16. Sunrise River is also pretty scary here because a lot of their cards are instant speed.
Yeah.
Different Country, Fetching Panya is a nice late game win condition. Even on 17 lands, again, Crossing Fog gets you there.
Right.
A bit with the time.
So I'm gonna give it 2 chili peppers because it's an interesting deck. But actually, no, I'll give it 3 chili peppers because, yeah. So next up, Froggies on deck.
I think I'll give it a 7, but
okay, yeah.
So I think I might have underrated the previous Flies deck. I think I underrated Crossing Fog in particular. And even with Title Spite, no, this seems pretty solid.
Yeah. Anyways, Froggy's on neck decked Veil, but it's running the version that has the Guardian of Mysteries.
But no Wisdom, dude. Whatever that's called.
Yeah.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
So I think this is just an old version of the deck.
Yeah.
So don't think we need to talk about this. I don't know enough about the deck to say how much Herald Wisdom matters, but look, it seems kind of important to me.
Yeah, I mean, me neither, so. So, moving on. Gaolo's also on Green-White Creature Vomit, but they're running the version with the Magistrate.
So Magistrate's replacing EHS here, I think.
Yeah. And notably, I'm facing them in round 1, so it'll be interesting to see which version is better in the mirror.
So I guess, so you played quite a bit of it, this deck.
Yeah.
This archetype, I guess.
No, just
how do you feel about the Magistrate?
No idea, because I never played with the version with the Magistrate.
Okay. So there's a bit of like history to this deck. The first time I looked at this archetype was because of the Magistrate. So you didn't have over the Critic Companion, but you did have everything else. I really didn't like the Magistrate, where it felt kind of clunky and made a lot of these awkward draws, where you just like, especially if you draw like too many like Terrace Playgrounds and not enough of your like creature makers.
Actually, Gaolo's also running 4 Parish Paragons.
Yeah. So you can kind of get really clunky hands. With the Magistrate, or like, and Magistrate kind of emphasizes that. So I really didn't like it. At the same time, that deck was being tested against Rune Brawl and like Rini, Blue-White Rini, and those decks really messed up the Magistrate as a creature because they just make a bunch of huge tokens and you lose because your 7/7 doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I just think Magistrate's really bad against Cane Dance in general because they just jump and you cry because your aggro deck is playing a 7/7 with no evasion.
Yeah.
Maybe it's better now since there's not as much bounty or whatever in the meta. But I'm not a big fan of the Magistrate in general on this archetype.
Well, I guess we'll see how it plays out. And so yeah, I guess Green-White Creature Vomit. Featuring Magistrate. Okay, anyways, moving forwards, gynoidpoets on burn, like just burn. Bloodvenge Berserker. They're on Bloodvenge Berserker burn. So they're also running Hugo.
Yeah, and some fine greater purpose as well.
Huh. Interesting.
So weirdly enough, I played against them on this style of deck with Bloodvenge Berserker in Fusion.
Right.
Bloodvenge Berserker, I still have no idea how good it is, because this kind of effect is really hard to gauge. Like, one thing I could see being really awkward is, like, Unjust Sentence not triggering it.
Right.
As an example. This is dealt damage. So, like, and, like, if you go, like, turn... Though, I guess at the same time, your creatures trigger it pretty easily. If you have Suit of the Sea in play, that's good enough. Any burn spell untaps it.
Yeah.
And if you just have multiple creatures attacking in general, having Vigilance seems pretty nice. Or Pseudo-Vigilance, I guess. Because if you attack with two creatures, it untaps itself.
Yeah.
Which is neat. Then they slide out of Hugo. Or Curse of Bleeding or Equidistant, which I'm a fan of.
Yeah, I really like how gynoidpoet isn't afraid to run 2-drops in their sideboard in the Hugo deck.
Yeah, I think especially after Hugo's nerf, there's a lot of decks that just like are really happy if you're playing Hugo on turn 2. Like even before the Hugo nerf, I was really happy if my burn opponent was playing Hugo on turn 2. Since it's really easy to like out tempo Hugo with a removal spell or whatnot. And a Curse of Bleeding is a lot better than Rage of the Ravaged, Equidistant, especially against the decks that Hugo's bad against. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Deck seems very solid.
So, yeah, let me just get burn. I'm only going to give you, actually, no, 2 Chili Peppers because you're bringing some new cards. And actually, right. What did I give the other green-white creature vomit? Okay. So, moving forwards, HerziQuerzi's on Illiterate Thunder, which I guess is Thunder Rolls, but without Spirit Scripts. Oh, they're still, wait, confirm hypothesis? And ready for anything? Wait, huh.
I think they got the memo a bit late, that these cards are kind of good.
Well, they're also running End of All Things, so I guess they saw our video and figured that they might as well try to run a big mana deck with Confirm and Ready for Anything.
Yeah, so Confirm, you're kind of needing to play these big mana cards, not playing around to 4 anymore, playing around to like 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
Confirm is pretty good at that. And then Ready for Anything is still a really good card draw spell.
Yeah.
Post-bill thing. It was So if I was to change Cosmic Thunder Princess up for the nerfs, I would add cheap interaction, and they just don't have any cheap interaction in this deck, right?
Does Bounty of the Guardians count as interaction? Okay, what about Thunder Rolls?
Especially not with Confirm. The 3 mana, I don't know if I'd call it cheap.
Portal Fracture?
Yeah, Portal Fracture and Cursing Glance kind of fit the bill. But at the same time, they don't do anything on the draw versus aggro.
Yeah.
So, like, taking the case of you on the draw versus aggro, I feel like you just kind of lose if you're pre-board.
Yeah.
Like, always. Which is not a good situation to be in.
Like, notably, Cosmic Cinco is still in the sideboard. I feel like Cosmic Cinco is a better main deck card than trying to go all in on Cursing Glance plus Portal Fracture. But maybe they need enough Cane Dancer targets. Actually, no, they have more than enough Cane Dancer targets already.
Admittedly, don't have that many main deck terminal blue sources. Actually, they get Shujunja sent to Changshui because they're not a commanding princess. So you actually have a good amount of terminal blue sources. What, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14. You have plenty of turn 1 blue sources.
Yeah.
But like, part of the Spirit Scripts package was Unceasing Flames, which again fulfills your turn 1 interaction kind of slot. Yeah, I don't know how this deck wins against aggro. I mean, it sides pretty hard against it, but I don't think this deck's good enough that you can like sack a whole matchup. Because I don't, and like not have any sideboard cards for, I don't have like that many sideboard cards for control. I guess Sinkhole is still good against like control mid range and stuff.
Yeah. So what do I even call this deck? Is it still Tropic Thunder? I'll call it Illiterate Thunder. Sure. And I'll give it not one chili pepper. I've seen this deck in action. Moving forwards, InfinityChef's also on Creature Vomit. Any questions? Are you not? Okay, sure. InsertName's on.
It's just the same list, right? No changes.
Yeah, it's the same. I think it's the exact copy that in deck lists from League. Anyways, InsertName's on Spirited Illusions, which is the combo that, well, someone noticed. Yeah.
Illusion of the Div plus any spirited card is infinite tap creatures.
Yep.
Which it obviously is good. How are you getting this? So you have Kirishima's Escort, which you can flash end of turn 2.
Yeah.
Seems really good. Zen Ascendant is another random one. Akama Rager. Feyblast Attendant for sure.
Wait, what's Feyblast Descent even for? Is it? I guess
it's for combo.
Okay, fine. I guess. But you're running.
This deck's really all in on the combo.
What's a Chili for then?
If you can't combo, I guess. They have a bunch of tutor effects.
Yeah, but like, why are you running Chili? It doesn't do anything in this deck.
I mean, if you're gonna have a one card, whoops, I can't combo, better do something, Chili's not the worst.
I guess.
This mana base seems awful.
Well, you're trying to run. Wait, are you 5 colors or are you 4 colors?
5 color.
Oh god, you're trying to run 5 colors with a creature mana base, but you're still running good.
5 color with abandoned monument. With no basics and with no rear lines.
Oof.
So I guess the question is the combo good? Because the mana isn't.
You're running Channeling Stone in a deck that has 13 sorceries.
I don't know what this unexplored regions is for either.
Mana fixing because your mana sucks so much.
I guess so. So you play your spirited stuff. You go turn 3 Illusion of the Div.
Yeah.
How do you get stopped? I guess is the key question.
Removal on your thing.
So yeah, and that seems kind of easy to do.
That's why you play Feyblast Ascendant, I guess.
Yeah, because all the burn spells kill your spirited creatures.
Yeah.
How many spirited creatures do you have? Is there any chance you have 2 by turn 3? 5 1-drops and 4 2-drops?
Yeah. Actually, why is this deck run a single copy of Osk? Are you trying to get Spirited Osk? Can you even get Spirited Osk in this deck? I don't think so.
I'm going to try to explain how Spirited Osk works. I barely even know myself. There's some weird combo where you can get Spirited onto Osk, but they don't have any just Gestalt creatures. They have some sideboard? No. I don't know why. I guess Osk is a fine card, but
they're running 4/4 Dancer Legion in the sideboard.
And they're on all 5 color lands. I mean, that's a legitimate sideboard plan. If your opponent can't beat a 2 mana 5/5. I'm not sure how. I mean, then you copy with illusion on the div. That seems actually really real. Honestly, I'd argue that's almost better than the main deck plan.
Yeah.
2 mana 5/5 into 3 mana 5/5 is a plan.
Wait, what?
I feel like this combo just isn't good enough
Yeah.
because your mana is awful. You lose like so, I guess Kirishima's escort kind of gets around in sorcery speed interaction, which is nice.
Yeah.
But you also lose to Wrath.
Yeah.
Um,
It has the rejuvenation problem of losing to sweepers as a combo deck, except you're not gaining 100 life on top of whatever you were doing.
yeah, but it also loses to sorcery speed sweepers, which Chilling kind of does if you're coming off, but if you're coming off, you probably can just Chilling next turn too, and win that way. Also, yeah, this feels like it's going way too deep.
I agree.
I also just don't trust the Banning Monument.
Okay, but I'm gonna give this thing 5 chili peppers for spiciness because this thing's burning my tongue. Also, I love how it's running 4 Sullen Secrets in the sideboard, despite, the mana base and how, they're running 4 Channeling Stones. But moving on, so Lyco Drake's on Ninhasir Red, the mono red version.
Yeah, so they've also stack quite a bit.
Yeah.
So mono red's kind of interesting because it hasn't really gone any upgrades since I played it 6 months ago, whatever.
Yeah.
But this is literally just the same set of cards except with Metal Munch now.
Well, Unburdened Rage got moved to the sideboard, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't really know how to rate this because all my experience playing it with the deck is when the meta was very different and a lot of different decks going around. And a lot of and this not using any new cards makes me kind of hesitant. It's like Valdez. Actually, this deck doesn't want to play against Nerf Valdez, which is weird because it becomes a 5/4.
Wonderful.
But I mean, this is a sword. I mean, you're going to have draws where your MSA Antiquity wins. You play your Daisy, you play your Master Healer, you play MSA, you play a Burn Spell, and it's not crazy, but it's just going to win some games.
You play Rattler and your creature opponent cries.
Yeah, it's just overall solid, even if nothing's really crazy.
Oh, it also doesn't lose to Betsy's Boot anymore.
That's true. That is actually probably bigger buff to the deck than Metal Munch is.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Maybe 3 chili peppers because I really like the deck.
Yeah, also being on mono matter means you can play Civilization's Cost, which is really good card in some matchups. But yeah, it doesn't do anything broken. You need to fight for your wins, but it can fight for the wins pretty well.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Mexican Mafia. They're on El Chapo. Oh, it's the Tropic Thunder. The old version of it, I guess. But I think it's still fine. I mean, Breach Elite's got nerfed, but it's probably still usable.
Yeah. I don't think there's much to say on this deck. You play your scripts package, you play a decent mid-game plan.
Yeah.
On the road is, of course, good. I will say, I was a bit less impressed than the C-Cash package I thought it would be whenever I see this deck. So I'm going to drop it down a bit from what I had it last time.
I'll give it 1 chili pepper because we've all seen what the deck does. Anyways, Ashi's on. What the hell is Ashi on? Mardu mid-range? I mean, Mardu Planeswalkers, actually, because they're running Barton's Journal.
I don't think this deck does anything weird, right?
Yeah, maybe Barton's Journal lets your walkers survive stuff or do stuff and still survive on their first turn. Like,
not really. I mean, like, it's kind of neat on Vidalcan.
Yeah.
Vikaldin.
Yeah.
They run a lot of swamps to make Vikaldin work. Otherwise, it's just kind of standard Mardu stuff.
Oh, they have Tabia. Yeah.
Then good amount of early game interaction. That's just overall. I don't have much to say. It's just plays good cards.
Yeah, give it 2 chili peppers because it at least has the Barton's Journals thing. So Popcornia is totally not just neck decking from Cyber. Let's see.
And control.
And control with Sunjing and Confirm, but only 2 copies of each. And no shifting lands. Except shifting. Oh wait, Shifting Blade isn't a shifting land, right?
This deck is control with no card draw.
Isn't this deck also like? Isn't this the same deck that Cyber submitted to a GP a really long time ago, before it Confirm was a thing?
Yeah, maybe.
And that's why they're running Confirms without shifting lands.
Yeah, I think this deck. I don't think this deck. So Team and Tempo can obviously win pretty quickly. This is playing a lot of the same cards where you have Event Horizons and Bank Commanders removal and out-of-body experience as like a Void Flare kind of.
Yeah.
The thing is that none of those actually kill the opponent. So it makes the lack of card draw really bad. Like, this is a deck that would benefit massively from Ready for Anything, I think.
Yeah.
Where you just don't use I think you just can't really win a late game where you're only really winning if your opponent falls apart to removal. And that's not really a expectation. I think most decks, that's good for a deck to have.
Yeah, also, sideboard runs some cards that I haven't seen before, like Resounding Relief, which I don't think... Is that even good? And they have Kamara Lightforger, which...
Actually, Resounding Relief seems really good, to be honest. Grave Hate, Black Fin, plus draw.
Really? Huh,
I mean,
yeah. I guess.
You're pretty happy signing Resounding Relief versus Cane Dancer stuff.
Right.
Draw 3, gain 3, draw a card, exile 2 cards. It's just a solid combination. I mean, the merely upping part is that you're Mabel, so you can't play Sealed Riftway.
Blindside's 2 mana, which is probably a bit too expensive for that sort of effect. You want your Grave Hate to be slightly cheaper.
2 mana's fine.
I guess.
You need a flash, so you can afford being a bit more expensive.
Yeah, and then what the hell does Kamara Lightforger flip into? Oh, I guess it deals 2 to each attacking creature when it enters.
The backside is just random Planeswalker stuff.
Okay, never mind then. I guess it's just anti-aggro because you can't run Chaldrain's Rage.
It's creature. It locks down a creature, but besides that, it wants you to have creatures, which isn't great. I guess the -1 gives Bounty of the Goddam's lifelink, which is kind of cool. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so just that control. I'll give it 1 chili pepper because I feel like we all know what the deck does. Oh, it's you now.
Yeah. So I'm on something vaguely similar to what Chumbeque was on, except I'm on an aggro plan instead of combo plan.
Yeah.
Where you have the typical Soldier's Core, which as I mentioned, I'm a pretty big fan of, particularly since you have a really good turn 1 and turn 2. Well, really, a lot of aggro decks don't kind of need that turn 3 to become really scary. Soldiers just needs the first 2 turns. And CandleOx plus Workgate kind of adds to that. Workgate interacting with Core like Champion. That also was an interaction in Chumbeque deck, but it's a lot scarier in an aggro deck.
Yeah.
Verdict of the Council kind of ties it all together. Removal plus enchantment for Workgate plus buffs up the Oxes.
Honestly, I'm surprised this card doesn't see more play because it looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's jammed to nowhere but 3 mana, and half of an Honor of the Pure, but also 3 mana. It's definitely not a flashy card, but it definitely does what you wanted it to do, which is nice.
Yeah.
Mercantile Accords is, of course, a nice addition to this kind of deck. We're locking someone out after you aggro. Play a bunch of aggro stuff is nice. Serene Chapel is also nice in an aggro shell. Otherwise, I don't have much to this.
So let's see, CandleOx. I'm gonna apply for spiciness because I like the CandleOx. I like the oxen and I like the candles. Okay, so moving forwards, RickyRister is Green White Creature Vomit. Deck that started it all.
Talk to it. About it.
Yeah.
Fickle Control. It's Fickle Control.
Yeah. Is it? It's white red, right?
Yeah. So you play Ico. We're playing Curtain and Will of the Fickle Lord, and then a whole bunch of stuff with the ETBs.
Yeah.
So this deck's kind of interesting, in general, because I think it really preys on the opponent stumbling. Where if you can get all your stuff set up, it's really abusive. But if it stumbles, it also loses. Where all your enchantment removal is just kind of not great. I don't think you're particularly happy having to play Burning Heels as card draw. It's not a bad card, but it's not something I'm jumping in my seat trying to play. Same with Flare Blitz, kind of clunky. Yeah. Will of Fickle Lord, also kind of clunky. So if you fall behind, or your opponent has instant speed removal for your Will of Fickle Lord or whatnot, it's pretty rough. Actually, I'm surprised this deck's not on Mercantile Accords.
Actually, yeah, good point. Maybe, I guess they just didn't bother updating it.
They guess they have some colorless lands, but even still,
yeah,
seems like a very good card for this. Hell, you can even Ico or Will of the Fickle Lord your Mercantile Accords to get under it.
Yeah.
So if you name 2, you can, and you draw your 2 drops, then you Ico and Will of the Fickle Lord, play your 2 drops, then it comes back down.
Yeah.
Or if you want to name 3, you can bounce it, play another Mercantile Accords for something other than 3, and then the other one comes down and names 3 again, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. I'll give it 4 chili peppers. Because I really like the deck. Is Splash Cat running the exact same list? Yeah, it seems like Splash Cat is running the exact same list, so we'll also include Splash Cat in the rating. Actually, no, they do run main deck Mirror Gate, though, so I guess it's one of the few decks in the format that does run main deck Mirror Gate.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mirror Gate, as good as the card as is, I don't think there's a ton of utility lands besides Mudskip running around. Mono Queen exists, but you're also a Monument of the Queens.
Yeah.
It's a nice card you can play though.
Yeah. Well, moving
Um,
on. Pip squeaks on heart attack. It's running ready for
Yes.
anything, huh?
And abrupt duplication, interesting. And Gate of Realms.
Oh yeah, Gate of Realms. Pip squeak did mention that.
It just looks like standard control stuff, right? But not using anything super powerful.
Well, they
Or
have
came down to
part
or
of it,
anything.
you know.
Yeah, so how does the thing is the late game win condition,
Yeah.
but nothing else super crazy.
Yeah.
Those are just to naturally hit 6 mana. Oh, they need 6 mana for alt to be good, right? At 6 mana, they're making 2 mana off alt, which seems probably good enough.
Yeah. And I guess they're saying, yeah.
So the rock and roll is the only nice abrupt location works as well, though it doesn't really work with hot.
Yeah.
Oh. It just seems like a bit of a clunky control deck.
Oh, I guess maybe Gate of Realms just gets there.
I mean, what point are you happy playing for like a lightning bolt? Like it feels like Gate of Realms more so just fetch as hot as
Right, I guess.
I guess it's another win condition in long games.
Yeah.
But I think in general this is just kind of a clunky control deck. You're not really doing it. Like you're just not playing a lot of the powerful cards in the format beyond powerful interaction.
Yeah. Well, I'll give it 2 chili pepper. Actually, no, I'll give it 1 chili pepper because I'm not really that interested in that deck.
Also, it doesn't have like off or anything even. It's kind of interesting.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, moving onwards, that one friend's 30 bolt. The first thing I noticed that they're running 20 mountains. The second thing I noticed is that they're running Cult Axlinger with no fetches. Third thing I noticed is that they're running Rapacious Rattler main deck, which is pretty spicy, I guess. But like Cult Axlinger, 20 mountains, and you're running Seeds and Flames too, so like, how are you going to enable Cult Axlinger reliably?
They only have 12 creatures with 3 of them being Rattler.
Yeah. Actually, they don't have any Suitor of the Seas, which I feel like is one of the better creatures in Burn.
Yeah, you can probably speak to that more than I can. Also, in Peel Siege plus Civilization Cost is an interesting combo.
Hey, maybe
from the sideboard.
If you want to kill their lands, and then you're attacking from both angles, both their life and their mana base.
I guess Imperial Siege is quite a bit better versus combo, but it does feel a bit weird to play both.
Yeah.
Also feels like the main reason you'd be on 20 Mountains is for playing 4 Civilizations class in the sideboard. And also none of the mana from new set.
Yeah.
Ever set that is the lowest played.
Yeah.
Which seems like a bit of a miss. But yeah, low creature count seems like a pretty bad thing.
I mean, I feel like Burn does run. Some Burn decks do just run 12 creatures, but usually they're more low to the ground.
Yeah, it feels like the more successful ones were playing 16 1-drops.
Yeah. Anyways, 1 chili pepper because it's Burn. We've all seen what it does. Moving onwards, the Flying Piano's Prowess Burn. So Flying Piano is the one that's on blue-red Burn. I mean, blue-red Prowess. And of course, they're probably... Wait, they're playing Sword and Board. Can they... Oh, they're not on... Wait, they're also on... White-red. Okay, never mind then. So yeah, white-red Burn. With some... Prowess guys, I guess?
Okay, so they're just splashing with Sword and Blood.
Yes.
Is Shy good? Is an important question here.
How does Shy interact with Sword and Board?
You need to pay 4
Oh,
to inscribe it, and then
never
you only
mind
get
then.
1. Because Infuse is just on hand.
Huh.
I mean, Shy inscribing a Scorch is pretty scary.
I guess. I mean, that's a pretty good turn 3 play.
But I'm not super big on this. I guess it's fine. I mean, it's gonna do crash stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's not a ton that you get from. I feel like going blue is a much better decision than going white.
Yeah.
Well, Panic Pounce over and not Strong Arm is also kind of interesting. Like, Strong Arm even has synergy with, like, Fine Graded Purpose, which is kind of funny. Because you can sack the treasure.
Right. Good point. It matters more now because the treasure's tapped. You can sack the tapped treasure.
Shy plus Strong Arm also seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty reasonable, kind of mixed up for the mana requirements of Shy. I guess it was fine.
2 chili peppers, I guess. Yeah, Shy, sure. Moving on, Time Spiral's tragic backstory. Seems to be mob black villainy with 3 chairs.
Monument of Queens.
Yeah.
Interesting mana base. I would have expected some manland or whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's villainy. I'm not sure how 3 tiers here. Feels like it's pretty easy for your opponent to give you a package you don't want. But probably fine.
Yeah. It's a villainy. I do like the 3 chairs, so I'll give it 3 chilies. Okay, so we're moving on to Wizardiness's Dragonfire Covenant. So I think the main combo here is Tarrant Breath plus Atsuo's Maneuver.
And then you're using Emersive Antiquity to do that faster?
Yeah, I guess so. And then past that, you have your black-red mid-range deck, I guess.
Yeah, then Infectious Ego on board. It's kind of neat. No Rattler is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Since you're already playing MSA.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, but I mean, it's black-red mid-range is kind of similar to like Mardu mid-range where like you're doing fundamentally good stuff. Kind of hard to get it wrong.
You're playing
stuff is a bit.
You're playing 2 mana 4/4s into actually no, you're just playing 2 mana 4/4s into stuff.
Yeah, I think it's like a bit reliant on like Timespeth being good. Timespeth, of course, interacting with polyp pools. So if you like successfully get polyp pools plus Timespeth plus Hatsword's maneuver off, you're looking for what 16 1/1s.
Yeah,
We're seeing pretty sick.
Well, you need to have enough targets for Tarrant Breath, though.
Yeah, well, that's just 2. I mean, you can target your own stuff you need to.
I guess.
Not great, but it works. So your card quality is a bit lower, but Hatsword's maneuver is fine in a lot of matchups. Same with Time's Breath. So, but it's still solid.
Yeah, so what do you even call this deck? A black-red Tyrant's Maneuver? Sure. And I'll give it 5 chili peppers because that's a really spicy combo. moving onwards, we have Zang's ninja deck, except it's updated a lot.
So
yeah,
Warland Illusionist, first card, I see. Iron Warden, Petrus. Okay. Underpass the Null seems like the additions.
yeah. I mean, they're pretty good additions too. More than Illusionist gets you even more ETB triggers off your Suzumes, and I guess Shin Raids, or no, it's just Suzumes, and I guess Transnaturalist if you want to Transnaturalist your own stuff.
I think they've been on Transnaturalist for a while.
Yeah.
So my concern with the Moorland Illusionist is that it's kind of win more. I'm not sure how true that is. But a 2-mana 2/1 that needs to specifically have Suzume in play to do anything. I'm wrong in that. It's Transnaturalist does stuff too.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, well, Transnaturalist, you can Transnaturalist yourself, itself.
Yeah.
And then you get a copy of it, bounce something else, and then on your opponent's turn you monument it in again.
Wait,
do the same thing.
That's insane.
Which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
You get infinite, or like free 2/1s.
Yeah.
Which admittedly, free 2/1s is not game breaking, but you get a bounce attached to it, which is really nice. Iron Warden's a pretty sick card.
Yeah,
very good anti-aggro card. I don't know what Petrus is doing here. This card seems like a really good draft card, but not a very good constructed card.
Maybe they're just playing it as
I guess it has lifelink.
Are you that desperate to run a 2-mana 2/1 lifelink Death Touch guy?
I mean, Suzume does cost life. It's not the craziest thing.
I mean, wouldn't you just run Whiterun Ordainer instead if you want life?
Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, it gives other things lifelink. You can use the 3 mana from Morning and Fall Man.
Yeah, once you're at 4 mana.
I mean, the deck chumps a lot. So
activate only during players
seems nice.
Activate only during
good combat, but
yeah.
Improve is okay. I don't know. Underpass Sentinel is also a bit surprising here because you don't have any 1-drops to give into.
It protects your guys, it's fine.
Yeah. It's probably just Underpass Sentinel's really good card, protects your combo. Play it off Monument.
Yeah.
What is Voon doing here?
You make extra copies of Suzume or something? I guess Shinrei.
Do anything?
I don't. You copy no. I guess you copy something and then Moorland Illusionist. You bounce it. It makes a copy of the thing that it copied. I guess. Yeah, I have no idea. Can chat help me? Durable way of dealing with creatures plus. I mean, okay, that's talking about Petrus. Is saying if you're in chat, what does Voon do?
Yeah, I guess Petrus being. I guess if there might not be better like game legend or Swung Cohort.
Voon copies give more chance to bounce. Okay. Yes.
It's copying Moorland Illusionist?
I guess that's alright, but
Shinrei triggers. I guess you can spare the mana because you have Monument.
Yeah.
So, like Petrus and Voon having expensive activate abilities is okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think it's mostly the same. So, solid deck, high synergy, of course, it's trying to set up a discard lock with Suzume plus Monument of the Fallen Man on Pickpocket or Whaling Course.
Yeah. I give it 3 chili peppers because it uses some new cards that I find really interesting.
More on Illusionist. Oh, you can copy Suzume. Wait, does copying Suzume work?
I mean, yeah, because it explicitly says non-legendary. Or, I mean, it keeps its name.
No, for Suzume. Choose a creature card name you haven't chosen for Suzume this turn.
Yeah, it only refers to the card itself. It doesn't refer to...
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not Yu-Gi-Oh! Wording.
Yeah.
That's neat.
So, maybe onwards. Mako's on Reflected Veil. Do we have to say anything else?
And this is the version, again, without Hail of Wisdom. Which I think I gave us 6.
Okay. And
how many copies of decks do we have here?
4 copies of Creature Vomit, including 1 copy featuring Magistrate, 3 copies of Reflected Veil, and 2 copies of Fickle Control.
That's a lot of same decks being played here.
Yeah, I'm surprised by the number of Creature Vomit decks too.
Also a lot of combo, right? Like very highly synergistic stuff. Depending on how, if you want to call it combo or not.
Yeah, I mean,
so like Creature Vomit being like aggro combo. You have Reflected Veil as 2-card combo. You also have a Tyrant's, if we're calling the deck Tyrant's Maneuver, is another combo. EurekaTell, Xira, Casino Scam.
Yeah.
Combo. CandleOx is also kind of a combo. But at least highly synergistic.
Yeah.
Fickle Control as well.
And then we have Jund Dreamsight as the complete antithesis of all that.
Yeah, Ninhasir Red as well.
Ninhasir Red does have some sort of synergies.
I mean, it's playing cards that work well together in the same way that Burn is playing cards that work well together.
Yeah, that's the point.
Spirit Illusion is another combo deck. Very interesting. Actually, how many aggro decks do we have here? The Dreadrise light up for GP.
Yes.
That was a very nice.
Is it up?
Give me a second. It is not up, unfortunately.
Unfortunate, yeah. Actually, what's Lyko saying in the comments?
1, 2.
Yeah.
So not much aggro in general. So there's a couple 3-burn decks, Red White Soldiers, a couple Fliers decks, no tribal decks, which is kind of interesting. But definitely a lot of very highly synergistic pseudo combos.
Yeah.
I guess I'd call them. I don't know if you call Reflective Veil hard combo or pseudo combo or
I think it's a control combo, I guess. Or a control combo deck.
Lots of like combo with something else thrown in. It's kind of interesting. Any decks you particularly like into this field? How do you feel as someone on Creature Vomit?
I think Creature Vomit has a really good chance. especially if there's 4 people playing the deck, that one of them will make the top 8. And
Yeah, that's fair.
I guess the deck that I'm mostly worried about is Reflected Veil running the main deck copy of Violent Collapse that they can fetch out, and I guess whatever deck's running the main deck copies of Mirrorgate.
Yeah, it looks like 5 decks on Violent Collapse, and none with more than 2 copies. And then Mirrorgate actually shows up quite a bit.
Wait, really?
Oh no, never mind. 2 of them on Dex title. Fickle Control, a bunch of copies in Fickle Control, and then one in Pip Sweet's Hot Attack deck.
Yeah.
And that's of course saying that. Of course, I should mention that Creature Vomit isn't unbeatable, and it can lose to itself. Aggro decks can definitely overwhelm it if it has an awkward draw.
You can also just lose to yourself if you play it badly, because there's a surprising amount of decision points when you're playing with the deck, and a lot of decision points that matter a lot, and you just lose if you make the wrong decision, especially with fetching decisions, because sometimes you're just tempted to fetch for stuff that you're tempted to fetch for basics so that you lose less life, and then you realize 2 turns down the line that you don't have quadruple white for something.
Yeah, and also, like last GP, you lost to your mana a lot, in that it being painful.
Yeah.
I think it was quite a few of you lost.
Well, this version runs 2 basic planes instead of 2 basic forests, which might help with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think for the most part, most decks are like pretty solid. There's not a lot of like decks I'd consider like super like scary per se. Like a lot of decks are doing scary things, but nothing that's feels super overwhelming. Like Featherweight Soldiers might be an exception. But just like looking at how I rated the decks, lots of like 6.5, which is kind of a solid deck overall.
Yeah.
Not many 7s, or the only deck that reaches 7.5 on my ratings is Creature Vomit.
Yeah.
So maybe a few of the things could get pushed up a little bit. A lot of the stuff that's being played seems fair with a kind of a single unfair element.
Yeah. So, I guess, is there anyone still in chat? No. Is there anyone that still wants to want us to talk about anything? Right. Huh. I don't think so. I think probably everyone's sort of done here. So, you wanted to just cut the stream now?
Yeah, seems like a good place to end it.
I guess you're
probably say anything else about the GP.
You're probably going to like at least clean up the spreadsheet a bit and like fill in the comment sections for Creature Vibe, because somehow you skipped that.
Yeah.
But as for what I have to say, for all of you guys, all 4 of you guys running Creature Vomit, I really like how there's Creature Vomit has the most number of decks in this GP, because I really want this deck to top 8, and then yeah, I feel like the deck is kind of busted right now. At least one of the best decks in the format.
Nothing got hit from it in last patch, considering last time it got like discussed and like basically at all. Everyone's like, yeah, this is just the best deck in the format.
Hey, I mean, remember that time when Infuse didn't get nerfed? Well, I mean, I was the only guy playing Infuse, and I didn't get top 8 because I played badly, and then next month Splashcat won the GP with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Infuse really wasn't discussed very much. I do remember Creature Vomit being discussed at least a couple times. I mean, like, yeah, that's just the best deck in the format. It's like even people on Candlehawk who were saying that Candlehawk was the best deck in the format.
Yeah.
Were also like, no, this was the other deck we were considering playing. It might be the best deck in the format. And there didn't seem to be much dissent from that opinion.
Yeah. Hey, but if the deck doesn't get nerfed, at least try to break open a GP with it before it does.
Yeah, I'm like Jade Temple. Should have kept the Jade Temple deck for the GP, man.
Hey, we need you've got one GP to be broken before it got nerfed to the ground. They didn't even win a GP. They only managed to get out copies to the top 8 and then somehow lose to bad luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, I have anything to say?
Wait, so the next month we're also going to have a similar format to this, right?
Yeah.
No major changes.
Well,
So
no new sets. We can't promise no major changes.
yeah, definitely with how many people on very similar decks here. Feels like a bit of a meta is forming, though that's of course pretty fickle.
Control.
Yeah. So like 2 people on fickle control, a bunch of people on Reflective Veil. Not that I think either of those decks are gonna get hit, because they seem pretty fair.
Yeah.
In general.
Something else. I love how I managed to get the green-white Creature Vomit deck to be named Creature Vomit, because I feel like that name is definitely not very attractive. But I feel like it definitely describes the degeneracy of the deck.
Well, the first person named the deck probably is generally the name that sticks.
Yeah.
That's if something like completely awful to say.
Hey, some people might argue that Creature Vomit sounds awful.
Not that many syllables. 4 syllables.
No, I mean the imagery of the name.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I think probably good to end it there.
Yeah. So for any of you that came to the stream, thank you very much. If you're like watching the VOD, then thank you very much for sticking this far. Most of the stuff is probably irrelevant, and you probably just came here to watch your part or part with your deck. But yeah. Anyways, time to end the stream. Okay, the stream's ended.